My beloved child, quiet your heart in this moment and listen to my gentle voice, calling you amid the disturbances of your life. I know there are days when you wake with a heart as heavy as though carrying an entire darkened sky, and nights when you stare into the emptiness and wonder whether your prayers have reached heaven or simply dissolved into silence. But my child, I have never been far from you, not even for a single breath, even in the room where you think you are most alone. I am still present in silence, like an unfailing lamp, like warmth covering your soul. When you no longer have strength to call my name, I still hear the trembling voice of your heart. When you do not know how to pray, I still understand every tear that falls as a holy plea. For my word has declared, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. And that word is not a distant echo from the past, but a living covenant I place within your today. Do not quickly think that trials are a sign that I have turned my face away. My beloved child, there are winds permitted to blow not to knock you down, but so you may realize that the roots of your faith are being driven deeper into me. There are doors that close not to imprison you in disappointment, but so I may lead you toward a more sacred path, where you learn that true strength does not come from what you can control, but from knowing how to lean upon me. You see your life like a restless sea, but I see beneath those waves a soul being trained, healed, and prepared for a new dawn. Therefore, when you think you are passing through a wilderness, remember that I once led my people through the desert, not so they would die of thirst, but so they would know that bread from heaven can fall in a place that seems lifeless, and water can flow from a dry rock. I know you have grown weary many times from having to be strong for too long. I know there are sorrows you have told no one, fears you hide behind a smile, and prayers you breathe only in silence because you are afraid even you no longer truly believe. But my child, you do not need to hide before me. I do not come to you as a cold judge, but as the father who bends down to embrace the child trembling because life has brought many storms. You do not need to prove that you are worthy to be loved. My love does not begin with your achievements, nor does it end because of your weakness. I loved you before you knew how to call my name, and that love does not fade when you stumble. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Psalm 27:10. Do you see? Even when earthly arms are not strong enough, my arms remain the place where you are received again, lifted up, and called beloved. Look at the story of Elijah, my servant, who once stood with strength before the false prophets, yet later fell beneath the broom tree and asked to die because he was utterly exhausted. I did not rebuke him in the moment of his collapse. I did not demand that he immediately rise to prove his faithfulness. I sent an angel to bring him bread and water, so he could eat, rest, and then eat again, because the journey was still long. My child, do you see my heart in that story? There are times when what you need is not to blame yourself for being weak, but to let me nourish you with grace and allow you to rest in my tenderness. I do not despise your weariness. I touch your shoulder and speak as the angel spoke to Elijah, "Rise and eat, for the journey is too great for you. And on that long road, I do not send you alone. I go before you to open the way, behind you to guard you, and beside you to comfort you. Therefore, when anxiety comes like darkness spreading across the windows of your soul, bring it all into my hands. Do not hold your burdens so tightly that you forget I have invited you to give them to me. My word tenderly reminds you, cast all your anxieties on him, because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You were not created to live beneath the chains of fear, nor were you born to bow your head before voices saying you will not overcome. I have placed within you the breath of life, the light of hope, and a calling that darkness cannot erase. Even if today you can take only one small step, take it in me. Even if your lips can whisper only a short prayer, speak to me, a sincere prayer. Though small as a mustard seed, can still open new seasons within your soul. Perhaps you are waiting for a great outward change, but I am also working a quiet miracle within you. I am teaching you that peace is not only when every storm stops blowing, but when you can still hear my voice in the middle of the storm. I am leading you to learn the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of the one who loves you. Fear says you have been forgotten. My voice says your name is engraved in my heart. Despair says everything is too late. My voice says, I make a way where there is no way. Loneliness says no one understands you. My voice says, I search your heart and know every path you take. So let your heart return to stillness. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. In that stillness, you will realize I have not been absent. I am simply working deeper than your eyes can see. I want you to remember that your prayer is more precious than you think. It does not need to be adorned with eloquent words in order to rise before my throne. Sometimes one cry of Father from a broken soul is enough to make heaven bend low. Sometimes your silence, when placed in trust, is also a song I fully understand. For I do not measure prayer by its length. I look upon the heart that is seeking me. Do not fear when you cannot yet feel the answer. A seed under the soil does not see the sun in its first days. Yet within it, life is quietly breaking open. In the same way, what I have planted in you may not appear today, but the harvest of grace is being prepared at the most beautiful time. So, my beloved child, rest your head upon my heart like a child finding home again after a long journey. I do not require you to understand everything right now. I only invite you to trust that I am kind, that I am keeping you, and that not one of your tears is treated lightly before me. When the world is loud, I will be your refuge. When your heart trembles, I will be your steadfast rock. When the days ahead remain unclear, I will be the lamp that lights your steps. And when you think you have very little strength left, I will remind you that my grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. Rise, not by your pride, but by my love lifting you. Keep going, not because you no longer feel afraid, but because I am holding your hand. I am here. I still love you, and my promise over your life will never return void. My child, let your heart grow still beneath the shadow of my wings. For I am speaking to you not with thunder that terrifies, but with the voice of a gentle Father bending near your soul, lifting you up in the hour when the road before you seems covered in clouds. You are entering a season in which faith will no longer be merely a word upon your lips, but a lamp in your hand, a breath in the deep night, and a quiet strength that keeps you standing when everything around you appears to shake. I know the trials drawing near to you. I see the anxieties you have not yet named. I hear even the sighs you hide within because you do not want anyone to know how tired you are. But my child, I am not calling you into this season so you may collapse. I am calling you so you may know that in the hardest days, my grace has not withdrawn. My hand has not grown short, and my love has not grown cold. It is written, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. As Joshua 1:9 reminds you. And today I place that word in your heart like a holy seal, so you may know that wherever you must pass through, I have already been there before you. There are people you love who need someone to stand in the gap and intercede for them. And I have seen in you a heart soft enough to love, wounded enough to understand, and steadfast enough not to let go easily. You do not live only for yourself. breathe only for your own dreams, or pass through this life like a silent shadow. I have placed you in your family like a small but not insignificant lamp, like quiet salt that still preserves, like a prayer walking through familiar rooms. When you kneel, you are not speaking alone into emptiness. You are entering the mysterious movement of heaven, where true petitions are lifted before the throne of grace, where the things you cannot repair with your hands can be touched by my eternal power. Do not despise your prayer simply because it comes through tears. For many of the strongest prayers do not resound loudly from the mouth, but tremble within the heart of a child who knows how to lean upon the Father. I want you to understand that intercession is not helplessness dressed in religious clothing. It is an act of faith, a participation in my holy work. When you pray in my name, you are not begging before a distant power. You are drawing near to your Father, the one who has said, "Call to me and I will answer you, and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known." As written in Jeremiah 33:3, there are doors you cannot open with advice, chains you cannot break with reasoning, and hearts you cannot reach with the impatience of your love. But I can enter the deepest place of a soul. I can soften what has become hardened, shine light where darkness is covered, and turn a life around even when you think everything is already too late. Therefore, pray not as one testing chance, but as a child who knows the Father is listening. Remember the story of the Shunammite woman in the days of the prophet Elisha. My beloved child, she once opened her home to receive my servant, preparing a small room with a bed, a tablet, a chair, and a lamp, not because she wanted praise, but because her heart honored what was holy. Then I gave her a son, a joy that seemed to close the door on old sorrows. But one day, that child grew ill and died in his mother's arms. Yet that woman did not let despair become the final voice. She laid her son on the prophet's bed, shut the door, and hurried to find Elisha. When she was asked, "Is all well?" she answered, "All is well." She did not say this because she felt no pain, but because her faith still clung to the one who has authority over life. And I did what no human being could do. The child lived again. Do you see? There are situations in a family that seem to have lost every breath of hope. But when a mother, a father, a child, or a loved one brings that pain into the holy place and seeks me, life can return where it seemed lost. I tell you this so you may understand that prayer born from faith is never an empty echo. Therefore, when you look at the trials of your loved ones, do not allow fear to cloud your sight. Do not declare that everything is over. Do not proclaim that darkness has the final authority. Do not let despair write the ending of a story while I am still holding the pen. I am the one who makes a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I am the one who opened the Red Sea for my people when deep waters lay before them. Enemies pressed behind them, and every human reason said there was no escape. If I could turn rock into a spring, a manger into a sign of salvation, and the cross into the doorway of resurrection, then I can also turn the heavy days of your family into a testimony of grace. You only need to stand firm in faith, not by the strain of your own strength, but by resting in my power. There will be times when you wonder whether your prayers truly change anything, especially when you have prayed much and your eyes still have not seen results. But my child, a seed planted in the ground does not rise on the first day. It lies in darkness, quietly splitting open, quietly taking root, quietly reaching toward the light before you ever see a green shoot above the soil. Prayer is the same. There are things I am moving in the depths that you cannot yet recognize. A thought being awakened, a door of temptation being closed, a meeting being arranged, A warning being sent, a heart slowly softening, a dangerous road being quietly blocked by me. We know that all things work together for good for those who love God. As Romans 8:28 declares. But you must understand that all things do not always appear in the form you expect. I can use even delay to protect, tears to purify, and waiting to strengthen your faith. My beloved child, do not worry that you are not wise enough, strong enough, or eloquent enough to pray. I am not looking for a flawless speech from you. I am seeking a sincere heart. One cry of Father, have mercy, spoken in faith, can touch heaven more deeply than 1,000 beautiful words without a soul. When you do not know how to pray, come to me in your truth. Tell me about the one you love, about your worry, about what you fear, and about what you do not understand. Place them before me as the paralytic was placed before the feet of Jesus after his friends opened the roof because the crowd blocked the way. It was the faith of those friends that opened a path for the suffering man to encounter healing. So it is with you. Perhaps the one you love does not yet have the strength to seek the light, but your intercession can become the hands that carry them nearer to grace. But when you intercede, keep your heart pure from impatience and judgment. I have not called you to control another's soul. I have called you to love with holy patience. Let your lips speak blessing more than blame. Let your eyes carry hope more than suspicion. Let your presence within your family make others feel not condemned, but as though a stream of peace is quietly flowing through you. For prayer does not only come from the secret room, it continues to live in the way you behave, the way you forgive, the way you endure, and the way you keep faith when others do not yet understand. When you live this way, you become a living letter of my grace. And through you, many will perceive the light not merely by what their ears hear, but by what their hearts feel. Stand firm, my child, for I am the one who fights for you. You do not need to see the armies of heaven to believe you are protected. When Elisha's servant was afraid because enemies surrounded the city, I opened his eyes so he could see that the mountains were full of horses and chariots of fire all around. What you see with natural eyes is not the whole of reality. Behind your prayer is the support of heaven. Behind your faithfulness is my unshakable power. Behind the days when you think you are alone is the gentle presence of the Father keeping watch over you. So pray, trust, persevere, love, and let your heart remain anchored in me. Through you, I will bring forth salvation, healing, harmony, and glory in places that seem to hold only weariness. You are the one I have chosen for this season, not to carry the burden alone, but to become a vessel of grace, so that from your faithfulness, my blessing may flow to those you love. My beloved child, let your heart become still like a lake before dawn. For what I am doing in you is not merely a small adjustment in old patterns of thought, but a quiet rebirth from the very depths of your soul. Through your life, I will glorify my name, not so that you may exalt yourself before the eyes of people, but so that those who see you renewed will know that my hand is still at work in this world. You do not need to understand everything before you begin to walk. For faith is not seeing the whole road and then believing. Faith is placing your foot down according to my call while mist still covers what is ahead. It is written, we walk by faith, not by sight. Therefore, when you sense within your heart a very gentle movement, like an underground spring awakening beneath dry soil, do not be afraid. It may be the first sign that I am preparing a new season for you. The change I bring often does not enter your life with the loud crash of thunder and lightning, but with deep tremors that only the Spirit can recognize. You may wake one morning and feel that your heart is different, as though something has been untied. You may suddenly realize that the things which once filled you with panic no longer have the same power over you. You may sense a strange peace, and yet also feel a holy expectancy in the air, like a field lying still before the first rain of the season. Do not rush to call that tension anxiety. My child, there are moments when your soul trembles, not because disaster is drawing near, but because my glory is drawing near. Like Israel standing before the Red Sea, with the sound of enemies behind them and deep waters before them. Everything seemed suffocating, but in that very moment I declared, "Stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord." What you thought was a dead end may become the place where I part the sea for you to pass through. But my child, to receive the new, you need courage to release the old things that have made your heart heavy. I do not desire to pour new wine into old wineskins cracked by bitterness, nor do I desire to place new light into a room still sealed shut by resentment. Let me enter the deep corners you have hidden for too long, the place where there are memories you do not want to revisit, words that once pierced your heart, disappointments that caused you to stop hoping, and relationships that left bruises within you no one can see. You once thought forgiveness meant setting someone else free, but I teach you that forgiveness first opens the chains from your own soul. When you hand that pain to me, I do not take it lightly. I lift it like a father lifting a wounded child, washing it with mercy and bandaging it with grace. Sometimes you ask me, "Father, why must I return to old wounds? Why can I not step straight into blessing?" My child, it is not because I want you to hurt more, but because I want you to be truly healed. A house that wishes to welcome a new warm fire must first have the old ashes swept away. A garden that longs to bloom must have the thorns pulled up by the roots. I do not only want you to receive a new opportunity outwardly, I want you to become a new person inwardly. It is written, "If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come." What I am about to do is not only change the circumstances around you, but change the way you carry those circumstances. It is not only the opening of a door, but the brightening of your eyes so you can recognize that the door is from me. Remember the story of Naaman, the powerful commander who suffered from leprosy. He came seeking healing while expecting a magnificent ritual, a miracle worthy of his status. But I sent the prophet Elisha to tell him to wash 7 times in the Jordan River. At first, he was angry, because that path of healing seemed too simple, too humbling, too different from what he had imagined. But when he released his pride and obeyed, his flesh was restored like that of a young child. My beloved child, that story is not only about a body made clean, it is also about a soul set free from pride, rigid expectations, and the thought that I must act according to the way you have already determined. Perhaps your own transition will begin with something very small, an apology, a letting go, a decision to pray again, a moment when you stop blaming, or an act of obedience that seems simple, but it is precisely there that my power begins to flow through you. Therefore, when you sense the signs of a new season, do not only look for wonders outside yourself, look within and ask me, "Father, what in me needs to be cleansed so I can receive what you are giving?" Perhaps I will show you a fear that has controlled you for too long. Perhaps I will remind you of someone you need to forgive. Perhaps I will invite you to leave a habit that has dimmed your spirit. Perhaps I will place in your heart a desire to live with greater discipline, to pray more deeply, to love more truthfully, and to speak more words of goodness. Do not regard these holy promptings as small, for heaven often begins great things through very gentle invitations. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. When you take one step toward me, you will see that I have been waiting for you with arms full of love. Then you will see that this change does not remain only in prayer or in the hidden place of your heart. It will flow into your work, giving you wisdom to choose what is right and endurance not to give up halfway. It will touch your relationships, teaching you to speak with kindness without losing truth, and to love without allowing yourself to be imprisoned in harmful bonds. It will seep into your family, where conversations that were once dry may be softened by grace, and long-standing distances may begin to be bridged by a gentle word. It will affect even your body and the rhythm of your life. Because when your soul is at peace, you will learn to care for yourself as a temple I cherish. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. That peace is not the absence of trials, but my presence in the midst of them. Also, prepare yourself to receive opportunities you previously did not have the courage to enter. There are prayers you thought had sunk into silence, but I have kept them in a golden bowl before me. There are dreams you once buried because of disappointment, but I can cause them to sprout in the right season. Yet when a door opens, you must discern between an opportunity that comes from me and the haste that comes from the human heart. Do not run after every glittering light, for not everything that shines is the star that guides the way. Ask for wisdom, for I have said that if anyone lacks wisdom, let them ask me, the one who gives generously. I will teach you when to step forward, when to wait, when to speak, when to be silent, when to take hold, and when to let go. Finally, my beloved child, understand that my glory revealed through you does not make you distant from others, but makes you gentler, clearer, and more full of mercy. A person healed by me will not use light to blind the weak, but to guide them out of the night. A person lifted up by me will not despise those who are falling, but will know how to bend down with a humble heart. I am preparing you not only to receive blessing, but to become a blessing. I am making you new, not only so you may rejoice alone, but so that through you many may recognize that hope still remains. Grace is still sufficient, and my love has never run dry. Open your heart, my child. Place the broken pieces into my hands. Let the past return to its proper place. Let the new season come like dawn spreading over the hills. For when you are free in me, not only will your life change, every place you pass through will begin to carry the fragrance of life. And through you, I will reveal my power, my kindness, and my holy glory.